Hello, everyone. Welcome. This morning I'm going to do a channeling for getting in contact with that part of yourself that some people call spirit, some people call Holy Spirit, some people call higher self. It's that part of yourself that most people ignore, that most people want to receive some kind of guidance from, but they don't really know what's the right voice. Because most of the time, most people are listening to a voice that's usually the ego. So with that in mind, the first thing to do that I always do, it's not really a practical guide, but it's just kind of a way that I get in touch with myself, which is through the breath. So to completely move away from that part of your thinking that wants to tell you to do this, do that, go to your job, do the next thing, there's a way of being that lets you just go with what's coming up now in the very present moment. So if you relax, now you can do this anytime, any place, anywhere. You can just sit there, and you don't even have to close your eyes. You can just relax your gaze. So if someone was looking at you, probably they'd think that maybe you were daydreaming, but you're not. You're just letting your gaze relax and breathing in, out and in and out. And if you can be in a place where you can close your eyes, then allow your eyes to close and relax. And just let any thoughts that you have, just let go of them, just for this moment. And then have one question in your head, and that question is, what am I going to do today? What am I doing now? It could be, what shall I do in this present moment? And then just let the question sink in. So my question is today, because I have a lot on my mind, and I have many things, many ideas in my head of what I'm supposed to be doing. And all of that comes from ego. All of the ideas, thoughts, the imagination in your mind around what the things that you should be doing, that you could be doing, that you've done in the past and you want to continue with, all these thoughts are the programmed mind. And they're just happening on the surface, and they're always there. So what we're trying to do, we're just trying to kind of get underneath that surface level of consciousness and reach the part of ourselves that knows what to do, that knows what is best for us. And literally, once you get into the habit of just stopping for a breath, make that time to stop for a breath. Don't try and do it when you're also thinking of lots of other things as well. But once you get practice at stopping for a breath and going in, just for a couple of minutes, maybe even just for 30 seconds, just stopping, breathing. What is it that I'm meant to do now? And then relax. You may get some kind of connection feeling. As soon as I get this wave feeling go through my body, relaxation, it's not just a physiological thing. It's coming from source, and it's kind of like a translated feeling in your body. Go with that feeling. Let that feeling describe to you what is best for you and what is not at this moment. Most of the time, it's not words. Sometimes it's words, but for me, most of the time, if I get this feeling, it's like a sort of tingly sensation. It's like a wave, a pulse going through my whole body. It starts at the top of my head and it goes down the back of my neck and down through my body. If I wait for that to happen, after I've asked the question, guidance is going to come. And something that I've had in my mind that maybe I wanted to do, or I've been thinking about, might come up. So a picture of that might come up. Or it could be something completely different that I hadn't even thought about, or be in a flash of an image. Or it'll be a word that's really quick. It's literally like a flash, and it's learning to detect that it's not nothing. It's so easy for us to just brush these things off. It's not nothing. Just go with whatever comes up and see what happens. And the more that you tune in to that part of yourself that works so quickly, and don't resist it, the more that you do that, the more that you start to enjoy it, the more that you start living your life from that. And I think some people find it very easy to misinterpret the signs, and this is something I've been doing for the past few weeks. It's called resistance. It's when you you have an idea in your head of what you think you should do, and then you just go ahead and do that, and that's living through the way of the world, the egoic consciousness. I would say that, probably it took me about 2 weeks to realise that I was doing that. And it does take some practice. You literally do have to go in. I've been told to go in every hour. Every hour, go in, contact my higher self, and just kind of open to it, just open to the idea that there is the perfect thing for you to do. And it's not necessarily what you think it is. It might be that it is what you think it is, but until you go in and relax, you're living from that point where you're thinking, right, I know what I must do. I must go and get home. I must drop my daughter off at school. I must get home, do the washing, clean the house, think about what I'm going to be doing later, do painting, go out in the garden, finish off what I was doing at the weekend. All these thoughts are not coming from guidance. And I've been so ill recently with following that voice. And it's that voice that causes resistance. It's that voice that is inside you all the time. And you think it's who you are, but it's not. It's not who you are. And the main thing that's springing into my head right now is I need do nothing. I need do nothing. I need do nothing because what am I? Who am I? If I'm doing all this stuff, where is it motivated from? Where is it coming from? And it's just coming from a place that everyone else comes from as well. And it's not who you are. It's just like a surface activity. It's a tiny, tiny, weeny part of you that you're functioning from all the time. There is a place where inside of you know that there's nothing that you need to do to be whole and complete and perfect just as you are. And when you get used to contacting that place, that part of you, it becomes more and more you want to do it. It's not just a habit, a routine, a thing that you feel like you have to do. It's the way of mastery. It's the beginning of it. It's the beginning of seeing that you can always bring all that you are. We're bringing heaven to earth. We're bringing them together. We've got one end of a pole that we're seeing all the time, constantly out through this body. And we're looking at that. We're looking at that all the time from our true self. And what we see is the external world. So we see everything in the external world, but we see nothing of our true self. So our true self is reflected in everyone that's around us. And so we constantly see reflections of ourselves in other people. And when you go in, instead of doing this all the time and trying to take advice from people of what you should or shouldn't do, you can ask yourself, instead of going online and asking, how should I breathe? How should maybe I should follow what Anna says, maybe I should do that. This is only a guide of what I do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not a teacher. I'm someone who's trying to illuminate my truth. And if you receive something from that, then that's amazing, because it means I've shared my truth, something of my truth with you. And that helps you to connect with your own heart, your own truth, and bring heaven to earth. This is what we're trying to do. We're always trying to do this. We're always trying to connect with all of ourselves all the time. But the thing that stops us is the part of ourselves that we listen to constantly. And we listen to that part of ourselves, this surface ideas, thoughts about the future, thoughts about the past, thoughts about what you should or shouldn't do. Who am I? I'm this person who is a painter, I'm an artist, I do Reiki sometimes, I'm a spiritual healer. This is Anna, this is the person who I am. It's not who I am. It's not. Because who I am is the whole of me, my complete self. And I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is, but I trust now so deeply with my heart. And I listen to that. I listen to that part of myself that says, hello, I'm here. Let me in. This is the God part of me that wants to bring me back to the original path, the original thread of who I really am. And that's all it is. That is all I ever need to do, truly, is bring that part of myself to this world. Because by doing that, I am showing people what is the truth of everything. People might not see it in themselves, but when they see me bringing Christ into this world, they see the light of that. They recognize something in it. They can't say what it is, but they recognize that it's love, and it's love that we are. It's love that we want to see. It's love that we want to bring into this world and into our hearts and into our most darkest places. And this is what I'm doing here. This is my purpose. There is no other purpose, to be honest. There is no oh, I'm going to be a spiritual guru. This is all coming from ego. All of it. And when you follow that voice, when you live from that voice, you see the result of that voice. When you live from the Christ mind, and the Christ mind is just basically bringing what God is to this world. It's joining it, the two ends of the pole. It's bringing them together to join what we've created with what we are. Bringing the essence of what we are to what we've created. And the more that you go in and contact this part of yourself, the more that you find love, the more that you want that in your life. And to a certain extent, there's a period of time, which I'm going through at the moment, where you feel like you're in limbo land. So you've got one foot in one door and you've got one foot in the world that doesn't feel real, because now I've already seen so much. I've been told so many things. And when you go in and breathe, if you're doing it constantly, with every thought that pops into your head about what you think you should be doing, if you can just breathe it through and let it go, and then ask, Holy Spirit, higher self, me, God self, what is it that I'm to do today? What is it? What activities should I be doing? Not should, it's never should. It always feels right. It feels good. And if you're like me, that you were a person who had a job that you did and you made yourself go into it every day. And for years and years, I did work that I didn't enjoy. I made myself do it because I was scared of not earning money. I was afraid that I was going to lose where I was living if I didn't earn money. And all these things that we tell ourselves, if for one moment every day you can go in and let go of all of that. Because if you only ever lived your life from not knowing what's going to happen, because you don't know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen, not unless you're extremely prophetic. You can see in every moment what's going to happen, what's coming. And if you could, then you definitely wouldn't be doing a job that you hated for 10 years of your life, like I did. When you live from the multi-dimensional aspect of it, it's not even multi-dimensional, it's just what we call it, because we have no other way of describing something that we just don't understand. And we don't need to understand it. We don't need to know all that we are, all of what God is. We don't. When you can come from this part of yourself, you realize that all these thoughts, all these fears, all these thoughts of, well, what am I going to do if that happens? Then if I do that, then that's going to happen, and I'm going to lose that money, and I'm not going to be able to afford to. None of that is true. None of that is real. None of it. If you just sat in meditation for 10, 15 minutes on your break time, you start to connect to the part of yourself that is the only thing that's real. And in that heart space, there is the spring. There is the font of all knowledge. And that knowledge is not what we call knowledge. That knowledge is not umpteen facts and figures and information. It's not information. It's everything that you are. You can get information from Holy Spirit, but it comes the knowledge that is God comes in a way that you're never going to expect. And you have to start thinking on your feet, not thinking, but being aware. You're not thinking, we're not analysing, we're not going, what did I just see? I just saw a flashing image, I need to remember it, what is that? Because then you're starting to go back into your mind, and it's not the mind, it's something much, much, much deeper than a thinking mind. It's the creative part of you that is everything. It knows everything in a way that you can't understand with your thinking mind. So you kind of almost just have to let everything go. Be with yourself. Be with that part of you. Be prepared to see things that you don't really understand what it is, and just to let that sink in, just to absorb that. And that feeling of it is the thing that is the remedy. It's really, really hard to describe because it's not words. When you go into your heart space, it's much more to do with how you feel, even though it might be translated into words. What you see, what you feel, the answer to your question might come out as words. Or you might see symbols of things, books that you could read, people who you could talk to. Someone might come up to you and start talking to you, someone who you've been meaning to talk to, or who you look at and think, oh, I wish I could help them or in some way. Or it could be anything. It could be anything. You don't know what it is until you access that part of yourself. It is fundamentally who you are forever. So while you're here on this planet, in this awareness, this density, isn't it worth contacting all that you are and letting that do the work for you, so that in every moment of every day, that is the thing that's steering your ship, so that you don't have to. Because once you go down that road, once you go down that road of seeking guidance, and it's not the Holy Spirit's will against yours. It's your will. It's you. It's who you really are. And if you just let yourself help yourself, this is something I've been told recently, because I've been struggling with issues of masculine and feminine and sexuality and attachment, what is mine and what's not. And more and more and more, the more that I receive from it, the more I trust it, the more I go in, the more I ask. And I am finding that I'm asking less questions, but sometimes you maybe have a day where you've been having a lot of, you've had a lot of time where you've had a lot of resistance, and maybe you become ill or something, or you've had an argument with something, or you've been triggered, or something that you think is bad has happened, and you want some guidance for that. And this is the only place that you're gonna get guidance. Because everything else, every other thing, every opinion, advice, is not coming from source. It's not coming. It's coming from a place that is the programmed mind, the perpetual tape going round and round in circles. Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's to start off with. If you're just trying to start doing this, you may have found that you're doing it already. That people naturally do it through what they call intuition. You can call it what you like, but it's that part of you that knows the best thing for you. It knows how to correct what has been programmed into you through the ego. What the ego does, so that you're not using the ego's own paradigm, its own way of being in this world, to squash the ego, to get rid of the ego, because you're not trying to get rid of the ego. Actually, the ego, there's nothing wrong with the ego. The ego is very useful sometimes, but we've let the ego become something that rules us. It's part of our will, our natural God-given power to choose what we do. So we're using our power to work against us by constantly doing stuff that makes us feel depressed, makes us feel angry, makes us feel in fear. None of these things would happen if we constantly lived from now. What am I doing now? How do I feel now? I'm only living from now. It seems almost impossible to do until you do it. It's like a work of art. You don't know how what's gonna come out. You don't know that creative process that is God. You don't know how it works. Once you let go of needing to know how it works, needing to know what it is, the magic, the mysterious, beautiful quality, the essence of God that we're all seeking by going on a not even a spiritual path, on a healing path, on a health path, to integrate when we become ill in the body. It's the last possible outcome of thinking in our egoic consciousness, our egoic state of mind, our egoic state of being, which is just a teeny tiny part of ourselves. The more you go in and meditate and access this part of yourself that you can't see at first, you just have to trust. You just have to trust that what you're feeling with your heart, the pictures you've been shown already, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here watching a video like this, or looking at, kind of people who've been channeling, who are doing Reiki, who are doing all kinds of massage or healing activities. You wouldn't be looking at and searching if you had not already had guidance to do that from yourself. It comes from you. It doesn't come from anyone else. And the you that it comes from, the higher self of you. I don't like higher self because it It sounds like it's hierarchical again, which is the ego. Deeper self, deeper. It's all that you are. It's coming from a place that you are everything. And you're bringing that into your awareness. You're bringing everything that you have, all that you are, into your awareness. And you're constantly doing it in every moment, as if there's not even any time. There's no time. And when there's no time, how can anything ever go wrong? But, you know, as I've just done the past couple of weeks, felt terrible. I haven't, if I think about it, I haven't really stopped to ask the question about the pain that I've been having. Only recently that I stopped, and I tried to answer it in a video. I was so resistant to actually just going in and being by myself and doing things from myself that I actually felt like I had to do a video on YouTube for it, because I wanted to share with everyone what I'm going through. I wanted to, but can you see the difference between I'm striving to do the Christ consciousness path. I'm striving to do what I want to do. I'm striving to, it's my will, it's my life. I'm going to do this video. I'm striving to do painting. I'm striving to get people to like me on YouTube or Facebook or any social media. I'm striving to do the Christ conscious path. I'm striving to do the practical activities in that path. Striving, pushing myself to do stuff that I'm afraid of, constantly trying to be someone, something. This is the path of the ego. Coming in cleverly around the back door. And as you become more aware, as you become that awareness that is everything, like God sees everything, you see what you're doing. You see that that is very, very clever. It's so clever. You know, it's disguised itself as, you know, I'm a spiritual being. Well, I'm doing videos now. I'm trying to tell the collective something really important, you know. The ego is disguising you. Again, it's a concept as a spiritual being through what you're doing. What you think you're doing is spiritual. What you think you're doing is a conscious path, you know, a way of being. But actually, what you're doing is following the same programmed path that you've done for pretty much most of your life. And it's so easy for that to slip back in, which is why breathing and meditation are really important, because they bring you to that place without using your mind to ask in your mind, oh, what should I be doing today? Oh, I should need to be doing a video, you know. No, I don't actually need to do a video. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to do anything until I feel that, until I receive some kind of guidance that feels good about what I can do. I already received guidance today, actually, to go out in the garden, but I already have resistance for it, which is really funny, because I know in my head that I want to do painting. but I feel in my heart that I want to be out in nature and listen to the birds. Now, which should I listen to? Should I listen to the part of myself that says, come on, no, come on, do painting. This is what you need to do. This is what you are. You're an artist, aren't you? Come on, you're trying to get your paintings in a gallery, so you need to do that. Do I do that? Or do I go outside, wait, see if I can get some more guidance about what is right, or see if it just flows? And when it flows, you know it's the right thing to do, because it feels good. It feels good. Even people who had been doing meditation and, for years, they've been doing religious or spiritual practices for years. They're giving talks on YouTube. They're giving talks in conferences. Even then, the ego pops up. And even then, it still can sometimes have its foot in the door. The only way not to come from ego is to be in a state of not knowing. And it sounds really scary, but when you're in it, when you're in that place where you're not striving, you're not doing what you think you should, you're just constantly opening to source, opening. And if you don't receive, what do you do? Do you do nothing? Or do you just go with how you feel, rather than ideas in your head that you've had for days, maybe weeks? Maybe you have a list of stuff that you've written down that you think you should do, and accessing the heart kind of feels like it's so alien to us to only do what is coming into our heart at every moment. But that could be anything. It could be. Okay, I think that's it for now. And I really hope this personal account is very personal for me. It's a vlog. I really hope that there's someone out there, or there's either now who's connecting in consciousness with us all, because we are all connected, and we can send love to anyone at any time. That's something worth remembering, isn't it? My purpose is love. My purpose is to bring that love to myself and this body, this vehicle that I've chosen to be in this life, in this incarnation. And whatever comes from that comes. So by being the presence of love in every situation, which is what I've chosen, this is my power. My power is to choose. My power is to choose only love, which is what I am in every situation. I choose that in every moment of every day. This is my power. I bring this into my awareness when I'm considering my pain in the stomach that I have constantly, when I'm considering all the things that I think I should be doing. Because when I do that, I do bring heaven to earth, because I'm bringing the ultimate me, the infinite, to what is tiny and small, and it shatters the illusion of that. So it shatters the lack of love I have for myself when I don't bring love to myself in every moment of every day. Okay, so if you can remember the word love, just bring love into your head somehow, so that it is constantly in your head and you're constantly thinking, is that love? Am I bringing love to myself? And when you bring love to yourself, you feel that love because you're receiving it from source. And when you've received from source, you can be that love to everyone and everything. I'm grateful for this path. I'm grateful for this life. And to everyone who I connect with, and even to people, all beings on this planet, all beings in infinity, in every possible dimension and place that exists, I bring love to that. And I hope you have a loving day, a day filled with all the love that you are. Thank you.